Hey guys, what's up? It's me, Thomas. Today we're back here with Josh Scorcher, and today we're here with the top 10 Earth bosses. Whether it be Earth, Dirt, Sand, whatever. You know they're going to control it to shape the landscape. Oh, shall we see who's the best of the best? Be sure to like, subscribe for more. Hope you enjoy. Here we go.
Subject is most commonly referred to as soil, dirt, or earth.
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 Someone's going to be very happy about this list.
They can speak for themselves, but they know who they are.
Earth. Quite possibly the most ubiquitous element of all. It's the very thing that we stand on. Whether it's moving a rock, creating golems, or trapping people, the applications are immense. We're looking at the Earth in all of its purest forms today. Rocks, sand, minerals, you name it. You know the rules by now, so let's rock.
Yeah,
Guys,
they're
can
going to
we
be
at
allowed.
least try?
Nope. Make it too easy. Let's begin. Who's first? So what game is that? Oh. Hello, Mario Galaxy.
I'm sure anyone who's a Mario Galaxy fan has not yet forgotten the face of our ghastly stone-shelled fiend, Bouldergeist. As far as the bosses in the game go, he's decently intricate. Throwing rocks at you telepathically and summoning walls of stalagmites, take him down a notch, and he enters his second phase, where he starts summoning giant rocky arms to protect himself and slam you with. He even doubles on the stalagmites.
Haha! The
Stalagmites
has been doubled!
Facing him regularly, he's
pretty much.
not that bad. But come the Daredevil challenge, and
Daredevil
the excitement gets kicked up a notch. This is when you realize just how careful you need to be dodging his attacks and not getting caught off guard by the boos. It's such a tense and fun fight. Easily some of the best in 3D Mario. But as this is an Earth-themed list, there are bosses here that just handle the element much better than just simply chucking rocks at you. Don't take our gravity friend lightly, however. He's still a great boss that's absolutely worth coming back to anytime.
Bye, Bouldergeist. Nice knowing you. Alright, number 9, coming up. So, Clayface?
A Batman Arkham villain, they made him out
Not
of
a
clay.
clay.
In Batman
Arkham City.
with
Clayface I shall play.
Was posing as the Joker, a face made out of clay. In Batman Arkham City, with Clayface I shall play. He has an earthly body with legs so strong and thick, and when he gets all frozen, he dies and then I
win.
This Batman Arkham villain, his face made out of
Out of
clay.
play.
In Batman
Arkham City. Oh, Clayface I shall play.
Oh, come on. You knew he was coming when you saw the title for this video. You
Yeah,
cannot
fair.
have a list of best Earth bosses without
Gotta have
talking
with
about Clayface. This monstrous stop-motion character was originally a man named Basil Carlo, an actor who starred in several B-movie productions. He was driven to madness when he found out a classic film of his was getting a remake without his involvement. Ooh, topical. Thus, he took on the role of the film's villain, Clayface, of course, and proceeded to kill the remake's cast and crew. Luckily for all
that was the
Clayface's
original. There are a lot of
adoring fans, we
Clayfaces.
get to fight him in Batman Arkham City. However, his role of a lifetime basically boils down to luring Batman to his demise by posing as the deathly ill clown prince of crime and serving as the game's final boss. I mean, the plot twist was pretty well executed. Things you thought were glitches weren't actually glitches. And it was foreshadowed. What about the boss fight? Well, after revealing his true identity, he'll swing his arms at you, form into a ball, and try to roll you down. And it's up to you to freeze blast him enough times so you can grab your sword and slice him down without him trying to smash you. So yeah, I'd say as a boss fight that utilizes earthly substances, it's pretty fun, even if it is a little standard. Also, I can't get over the fact that this
Wonder if
brutish,
Sandman's here.
taciturn monster is supposed to be Clayface. He's an actor, a thespian, a paranoia-inducing body snatcher. He's not this.
I will become you!
Now, he was used cleverly in the story
Wasn't
here,
that in
but
the
all he
comics,
does
though?
is throw clay at you and you just bat him around a bit until he falls into the Lazarus pit and dies. Wait, how do you die by falling into the Lazarus pit? Shouldn't that technically make him not a clay anymore? Ah, geez, Ra's al Ghul's got some explaining to do.
Yeah, I think it's more just his body losing essence, I think. I don't know. At least that's how I see it. Anyway, number 8.
While we're talking about Earth bosses, it's only natural we're gonna have to start digging deeper. For you see, the knights yearn for the mines!
Yep, Shovel Knight time!
Shovel Knight's one of those games where they really went hard on the bosses. Being partially inspired by the Mega Man games, of course, it's gonna have its own villainous
some gameplay
band of
from
mooks serving
DuckTales.
the big bat. Enter the dastardly Order of No Quarter. This dark round table of knights all control different territories in Shovel Knight's world, each bringing their own brand of tyranny across the land, and what do you know? One of them hold out underground. Mole Knight is the foreman of the Lost City dig site, a series of underground ruins that he's excavated in search of treasure. This guy runs a very tight work schedule, and Shovel Knight's presence here is quite bothersome.
Yeah.
True to the moniker, Mole Knight's battle has him show absolute mastery of the terrain surrounding you. From charging in and out of the walls, drilling into the earth to trick you with fake dirt piles, and enticing mini eruptions, it's clear that dinky little shovel of
both
yours
lava
isn't anything
and
to this guy's skill. He even goes as far as dropping dirt blocks down to bury you, trapping and setting you up for combos with his other attacks. Hope you brought the dust knuckles from the stage prior, cause you're gonna need it to escape the grave this guy digs for you.
There is no escape from the fortress of the moles.
But, well, Mole Knight's pretty
If you
simple
play it
to
right,
take
you'll be
down
fine.
compared to the other bosses in this game. Punches clock in and a bunch of his mold minions come to carry him away. All in all,
Bye-bye.
pretty decent boss fight. And then the refight in the Spectre of Torment and King of Cards campaigns comes in, and Mole Knight shows he's got plenty of tricks still up his sleeve. Namely, this green bouncy goo.
I can't cook without my goo.
Would you believe me if I said that Mold Knight, this guy who absolutely humbles Shovel Knight in the art of digging, is actually the least impressive member of this game's rogue gallery?
Ouch.
Yeah, Shovel Knight's stacked to the brim with some really good characters and boss fights. Even being the quote-unquote least notable villain in this game, Mold Knight still sets the bar stupidly high. Or low.
Low, I
case.
guess.
Semantics.
True. Yeah, honestly, I forgot he was a thing. I don't play. Really shows like what the. You always have that one outlier that you just tend to forget in like great boss lineups, you know. Mole Man and Mole Knight is apparently one of them. Oof. Anyway, next. 7's coming up.
It's pretty common to see Earth when fighting Berserker or Axe-type enemies, and just seeing them hit the ground so hard that the literal Earth splits and chunks go flying at your face, it looks so cool. Luckily, Kingdom Hearts has a good one. Lexius is probably the least fleshed out member of the OG organization. He's your strong silent type, not wasting his words or his strikes against those around him. And it isn't surprising to see that the strong silent Earth is his bread and butter. He can summon rocks from the ground whenever and direct them to wherever he wants. Like how he threw Sora in his data fight and just launched a boulder geyser line right to him. Yeah, he's strong too. You remember the impact that Riku faced just by being tossed by him. He even has the unique ability to increase his power and give himself super armor, making him unflinching and making his boulder geysers, trademark, get so much bigger. This is a double-edged sword, as the stronger he gets, the more damage you can deal from using Reflect. If he gets to 99,999 power in his data fight, you better hope for that reaction command, because he will destroy you if you make one wrong move. Fighting him is simple. Block his attacks, use the reaction command to break his aura, and combo him, combo him, combo him.
You light him up!
Riku, counter him with guard breaks in duels and attack when his guard is down. Despite his strength, I'll admit he's one of the easier data fights in KH2, but it's still a fun challenge in Recom. Though, challenge is relative in this series. Any fight can be easy or super hard depending on what strats you used. Unless it's Data Zaldin or Data Dark Riku. Can't cheese those guys. I tried.
Yeesh. Yeah, you know the fight's hard when you can't even cheese it. Number 6, coming up.
Oh boy, it's time to talk about sand! The sand one is one of the more interesting dungeon items you can find in the Zelda Pantheon. There's so much gameplay potential that can come out of the ability to create platforms around sandy terrain. This carries over to the boss fights as well. In Spirit Tracks we have Skeldritch, and yeah, it's not a bad fight, but honestly, I'm looking for something much more fast-paced and action-packed. Something like Link Between Worlds Zaganaga.
Zaganaga?
Ziggy Stardust.
Did I have a stroke?
As the boss of
Probably.
the Desert Palace, you fight
I
this
think I was just going
giant
with Zaga
cactus
Naga.
on top of quicksand as it fires its minions and sand lasers at you from a distance. You gotta
sand
use the
lasers.
sand wand to move from one pillar to the next, and once you get near it, into the worm grinder it
Light up!
goes. The
Woohoo!
boss itself doesn't use the sand element in very complex ways. It's a fight that highlights just how tense you can make a fight revolving around the sand wand. It definitely earned a lot of points for not just being creative, but also exciting. Sure, the boss can be a bit of a damage sponge, but hey, not the worst cactus boss to be one.
Looking at you. I guess we'll cover that when we get there. Next, number 5. Yeesh.
You guys know how we here at Fiery Joker Productions have a bad habit of using the same
Reading lists
boss
against-
over and over? Well, now we're doing the same game.
Here we go.
Hey, not
E7.
my fault that E7 has really good elemental bosses. Those dragons go hard, though not as hard as that boss theme. Radamanch is
Amen.
the first of the dragons you fight, and man, does it set a bar. This big guy does a combo of using earth and plant attacks to keep Adol and friends on their toes. Shockwaves, falling boulders, vines coming from the ground, fire, and laser blasts. Don't know how those last two relate to earth, but hey, they're cool. Start by attacking the crystal at the dragon's feet and watch out for that tail. After they're gone, you can attack the head, but it won't just stay there. Hope you mastered flash guarding. Once the stone dragon's at half health, he will roar and send you to the abyss below. Don't worry, the fight's still going, as he chases you and tries to eat you. Now this is a trial. You need to wait for it to try and bite you and then attack the head when it's lower. And you need to do that while avoiding more shockwaves, fire, and lightning balls being rammed and laser at... Okay, what?
Okay, why lasers?
Oh, who cares? It's cool. Keep that up,
True.
and the first dragon trial eventually ends, leading to a whole arc of backtracking, insane dragon fights, and guitar riffs. That last one is mandatory in any Ys game. People go back and forth about which dragon fight is better, this one or the moon dragon. I honestly don't care, since both fights are awesome and show how good an Ys fight can
gotta
be
love
when
the
the chips
guitar
are
riffs.
on the table. Too bad we can't talk about the last two dragons. We already did their countdowns. Plug.
Oh well. Yeah, well, should have would have, I guess. Alright, number 4. Let's see who's next.
Mega Man Battle Network likes to take old Robot Masters and give them some design tune-ups as they become net navies. Despite this, the games don't mind introducing some
Roman?
new faces every now and again. DesertMan.exe
Desert?
being one of these. This freaky little golem is the net navi of Tsunayama, the host of the N1 Grand Prix and also an agent of Wily. He uses the tournament as an opportunity to defeat our rival Chad, and when worse comes to worse, abducts his father so he can steal Proto Man. Fortunately, Land comes in and smacks the Westaboo in the face before challenging him to a battle. To start with, Desert Man will try to maul you with these hands and even create quicksands on your side of the field. Damaging him is tricky, as he will always hide behind sand pillars and each hit he takes will cause him to shift away immediately. In harder versions of this fight, Desert Man will spawn sand even on your side of the arena, impeding your movement with each tile.
I don't like sand. It's coarse and rough and irritating, and it gets everywhere.
There we
It
go.
would be a tricky fight if you don't come prepared. But, fortunately, it's never a hassle to stock up on some water chips to keep the boss solidified so you can rip and tear through the sandy fella. Heaven knows Tatooine could use some right now.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, there were water farmers. Just, I don't know how often it rains there, but the deserts, they hardly rain. You expect anything less? Well, anywho, we're down to the final 3, so let's see who tops the list. First up, number 3.
Picture this.
Oh,
You're off on
Colossus.
your perilous
That's
quest
a snake?
to say a bunch of Titan-sized wild animals under the vague assumption that you can revive your friend. You just slayed 9 beasties and you're feeling pretty fantabulous.
Oh no.
You and your horse come
You were
across a
saying?
sandy terrain when suddenly...
Okay, cool, the camera. Ah!
Oh,
Yep.
Dirge, or as I like to call it, the mother of all danger noodles. It is the 10th Colossus you have to kill on your quest, and arguably one of the most aggressive. The moment you even set foot on its land, it's got you on its radar. It burrows beneath the sand, slithering around you, chasing you, waiting for the perfect chance to make you its next meal. Occasionally it pop its head up and...
Come, I will make you suffer.
They stare into my soul. And they're even freakier if you get a game over.
I will enjoy feeling you suffer.
Look away.
Stop staring at me with them big old eyes.
Now, Dirge isn't exactly a hard boss. Just stay on your horse the whole time, keep out of the beastie's reach, and shoot it in the eyes with your arrows. Then, while the monster's distracted, just climb on top and hit its vital weak spots. It's actually one of the easier colossi in the game. That being said, you don't want to get cocky, kid. It's agile and nimble for a beast its size, and you really gotta pay attention when it's burrowing, or the last thing you will ever see will be those
game over
freaky eyes. If I look under my kids' beds and see those eyes, we're selling the house.
Yep.
Everyone dies.
Yeah, I'm burning that house down. No offense. Jeez. Number 2. Let's see.
Once again, this whole broadcast has been brought to you by Sam. It's everywhere. Get used to it.
Got a panic.
Sandman, a well-known figure in Spider-Man's Rogues
Spider-Man
Gallery.
2.
With a name like that, he sounds about as gimmicky as it can get. But depending on the writing, he can actually be a very compelling character. Naturally, it was only a matter of time before he showed up in the Insomniac Spidey games, and he made his debut in a major way.
Yeah,
as the first major boss of Spider-Man 2. After years of being on the radar, Flint Marko is back to his Sandy persona. Something has him spooked, and he's making it everyone's problem. He grows into a kaiju-sized monster, whipping up an enormous sandstorm and laying waste to the city. Even with 2 Spider-Men on the case, he's still a massive powerhouse. He throws debris at you, grows multiple limbs to grab at you, and even spawns mini Sandmen to rumble with you on the ground. At one point, he freaking yeets Miles halfway across the city. If I have to nitpick anything about this great fight, it's probably the easiest boss battle in the game. I mean, yeah, it's the tutorial to get you reacquainted with the controls for both Peter and Miles, fair. But once you get into the swing of things, no pun intended, there's not much to it. But the difficulty isn't what makes the Sandman tussle the runner-up. Once again, it's presentation! Really? Not gonna play the clip again? Fine. Presentation. What the fight lacks as a challenge, it makes up for as a cinematic experience.
You know, gets us to that,
enormous,
sand crystal
both
side quest too.
View gives you a sense of how big he is as a threat. You can feel the earth shake for the mere act of him swiping at you. Even after you beat him, the damage he's done doesn't magically go away, as most of the city remains buried in sand for a good chunk of the game. Add to it, later on, we go on a side mission that involves finding crystallized versions of Marco's memories, which adds a more sympathetic layer to the Sandy Brutes.
Yeah.
Really makes me glad that Flint was one of the villains who got reformed instead of the half that Spider-Man 2 was a wild time for villains.
Yeah. Oh, wait, true. Honorable mentions.
Quaggled Meyerclops, Pikmin. All the strange designs of Pikmin, this rocky crystalline thing with hooves and a strawberry brain is just the freakiest. Senator Armstrong, Metal Gear Rising. You could fill a bingo card with how many times we discussed this patriotic beast. Escavalion, Grand Blue Fantasy Relink. Very cinematic fight where you can surf on sand. I wish this game came out sooner, as those other elemental fights are peak. Bertha, Pokemon Gen 4. Those rematch fights are scary, scary, scary.
And the number 1 boss. Who do we got?
Here we are at number 1, and as normal, we're probably expecting the obligatory Zelda, Kingdom Hearts, Final Fantasy, Arkham, or Shadow of the Colossus entry. Wait, we already did 4 of those, which means there's 1 left, and it's time to go big. So big that if this game was out when we did giant bosses, it would eat sin for breakfast. So finish this up with Titan from Final Fantasy 16. Clive and friends have got up to some shenanigans at this point, trying to find his brother, destroy a bunch of crystals, and get revenge on a man who attacked his base of operations 5 years prior. The man in question, Hugo Kupka, blamed Clive for killing his lover and attacked them as revenge. Even though Clive didn't technically kill her, the ones who did used her to force Clive and Kupka to fight each other. It gets complicated, and the less I talk about Odin in this game, the better. Anywho, Kupka is Titan, and the two finally had their showdown in the most insane fight I've seen since Asura's Wrath. The battle starts like a normal Eidolon fight between Ifrit and Titan, but Titan is massive. Like, Ifrit is huge too, but he barely goes up to Titan's knee.
Yeah.
You need to dodge Titan's earth attacks while keeping up the pressure. During the fight, you learn Brimstone, a shield that can explode on impact, granting you more abilities to deal with the incoming rock avalanche. You think knocking out Titan's HP would end the battle, though, but thanks to Crystal's shenanigans, he knocks back Clive dozens of feet and becomes even more massive. Titan lost. Of course, our boy isn't out as he dashes towards Titan, launching fireballs to deal with the falling boulders. This part is mostly cinematic and on rails, but oh my gosh, it's so cool. Clive jumps from rock tentacle to do any sort of damage to Titan. There are sections where you'll be able to lay the hurt to Titan himself, but the damage you do is minuscule. Look at that. This behemoth. Some QTEs will eventually see Clive knock those tentacles into Titan's head, splitting him in half. And yeah, the fight
still not done.
Still isn't over. Ifrit and Titan clash while falling through an abyss of crystal and rock. You need to time your dodges and attacks well to deal as much damage as you can as Kupka practically drags you to oblivion with him. He will throw rocks, smash crystals, and use magnetism to finish you off. Well, Clive got one final trick with the same crystal shenanigans. Goes through one last epic power struggle that ends with Kupka turning to dust. This fight is crazy, and the amount of buildup and execution that occurs is just mind-boggling. Say what you want about 16. The Eidolon fights go so hard. Yes, harder than stone. Haha. But I lost my breath just fighting him. Never mind, Clive has spent half the fight swearing and jumping around a little old mountain. Or my PS5, which sounded like a wind turbine by the end of it. There was no contest for Titan being at the top. It was the most rock-solid choice I could have made. And that's the last rock pun. I'm the Fire Joker, and October is coming up, which means it's time for the darkest, the most disturbing, and uniquely scary to show their stuff.
So I'm guessing the creepypasta bosses? I don't know. You still have to wait and see for that one. Anyway, so there you go. Thanks for watching. See ya.